Let's make sweet, sweet profit together.
Boys and girls, good morning. Time to play some video games. God, oh Lord Almighty, do we need a new beta build? Yes, we do. How are we doing, boys and girls? Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Let's let's get our little goblin dude out of his dance mode. How are we all doing? There is hopefully going to be a new build today, as we are slowly but surely. Well, let me put it this way: there's a couple of professions I'm still keen to look at, and I can't because they're totally busted. I've been playing on the leveling servers as much as possible, but hope we're all well this morning.
Is that your wallet?
Nothing particularly too serious planned this morning,
Both,
other than to well, we've mostly finished. We've lore mastered for the most part. The first zone of Isle of Dawn, we have lots of quests to complete in some of the other zones still, and all the little mini games and stuff that come with them. I was in Ashkahet yesterday, and it was an absolute lag fiesta. Couldn't even fly through the zone, so let's hope we don't have to spend much time there until all. But yeah, we're just going to go exploring today. That's the plan. See what we can find, see what we can stumble across, see what squirrels can jump out at us. Talking of squirrels, Derpalicious Kahani, thank you very much for the tier 1s this morning. Appreciate those. Thank you, thank you. Dawn has been laggy for you as well. I think they're probably, there was 2, I believe, updates. There was 2 internal updates. Let me see if I can find, I suspect. Where did they go? Where did they go? Where did they go? Where did they go? I can't find them to hand. But I have a suspicion that this next build is going to be quite a big one. If the next build ends up being quite juicy, quite sizable, there'll be lots of stuff to play with. Hopefully they're going to fix this lag, because I have noticed it for a few days, that the lag is pretty gross. If they can get that sorted, I would love to see some NPC work orders. I'd like to get my teeth into that and give some feedback on NPC work orders before it's too late. Dare I say? Dragonflight, they gave us work orders, a workable version of work orders to see and play with 2 weeks before the expansion went live, which was clearly no time in any way, shape or form to provide any meaningful level of feedback on the system, or even to bug fix it and make sure it wasn't completely busted. NPC work orders, I hope they get them in there nice and quickly, considering it ties up the professions. Ties the well, it's the last piece of the puzzle, should I say. So we can hope for some of that maybe in the new build. Yeah, my coffee is... I think it's done. I think it's done. Hang on. Yes, yes. Coffee time. People took work home for the weekends. Oh, I don't know. I don't know how they do it internally. I've always thought that they're probably a build or 2 ahead internally to what we see in any sort of public fashion whatsoever, so they're probably not implementing like the latest stuff. Let's I was hunting some treasures last night. I've picked up on this character blacksmithing and alchemy just to try and hunt down some of the treasures. I found most of them. I'm missing 1 blacksmith treasure and I'm missing 1 alchemy treasure. I thought maybe I'll have a quick scout around for first thing this morning. I have a suspicion that the blacksmithing treasure I'm missing is around here somewhere, but I don't know exactly where. There's usually, or there has been, a profession treasure lurking near the training tables for most professions, but I've not found one for blacksmithing, which is making me think either something's busted or I've missed it or what, I don't even know. There's a hammer I'm missing. The hammer I'm missing. Where's my notes on this? I am missing. Anybody would like to find the Dornogal hammer? Please be my guest. It's contained, see, even Wowhead seems to list it as in Dornogle somewhere. Question is where? So, I'm going to have a little bit of a scout for this first thing. I would have expected it to be around the blacksmithing trainer, but... Holiday enthusiast, you're boring, nobody cares. Maybe there's another area somewhere where I've missed. There's going to be quite a lot of this in the next few weeks, hunting down and figuring out exactly where stuff comes from. I'm pretty convinced in saying that the two weekly knowledge points come from treasures again. I've now found multiple versions of what appear to be treasure location knowledge points. Admittedly, they're all dishing out Dragon Isles ones at the moment. They're all the old ones. The only new ones have actually been leatherworking, weirdly enough. There's new leatherworking ones that you can get from treasures. But not for any other profession so far. I also kind of thought that if we've got a bit of downtime, potentially, we could have a little bit of a play with gathering. If I'm going to do a bunch of questing and flying around and stuff, I thought about what's the option. There's one possible use of early access. One possible use for early access is that we just put herbing and mining on a couple of characters and we level them just purely by gathering. Kill two birds with one stone. Get some level 80s. Get some gathering done. There's part of me that's wondering if that might be a plan. Ooh, we haven't done next chapter of the campaign. I wonder if I'm in a weird phase because of this campaign, and so hence the treasure might not be showing. That sort of stuff is more common than you'd like it to be.
I have an extended supply of goods.
Directive confirmed. Let us begin with banners then.
Let's these banners up.
I am certain you will find this design to your
Yeah, I'm
taste.
thinking that doing some gathering is leveling. Because, you know, the early access, the 4 days of early access, you want to be relatively optimal with what you do.
I have prepared
If you just
everything
spend your
you
time
want.
leveling, then you are just leveling. If you're going to level, maybe doing something that's also goal-making-esque as well. If nothing else, just materials to throw in your war bank, so then when your alts start looking at their professions, you have some stuff ready. You know, utilize the time efficiently.
Well done. All I need now is your signature.
Manthius of the Horde, Manthius Champion of the Horde, Master of Interiors, Aesthetic Architect, the Artful Art user fake name.
Thank you for your assistance. Our esteemed
Anonymity
guests
online.
are on their way.
Right, we've claimed this as home, have we?
You need a hammer? Or an open hand?
Oh, pick one. That one.
We will survive. We always do.
Transmute of pouch of weathered harbinger chests. Right. I've been picking up as literally every single quest I possibly can. Which has also led me to not really doing them in the right order.
I have validated
Which is why I definitely need to do this a couple of times on the beta to like get a grasp of exactly what all the quests are.
Gems. Let's go.
You're not going anywhere? Ah. Once the remix is over, would those tunes be able to partake in the pre-patch event to gear up?
Just like the
Theoretically. Obviously we don't have a pre-patch date yet. And we also know that Remix isn't actually ending until the 19th. Or at least it's in the calendar right now to not finish until the 19th. Now, that's only going to give you 3 days. 3 days of assuming that the transfer from remix to normal is instant, which you'd kind of assume it would be. When remix ends, you're going to have 3 days until the early access begins. So maybe. It depends what they do with the remix characters, though. I suspect and I hope if you've spent bronze gearing those characters up that you're going to get like 500, 515. I hope they do people a solid, which is if you've spent a shitload of time and effort gearing characters up on remix, that they at least give you like at least heroic level gear, if not mythic gear, honestly. Pre-patch we expect is going to be out way before this, way before this. In all honesty, most people will be done to death with it, I imagine, by the time the 19th rolls around, but we'll see. Last announcement was 424 item level for remix characters, but this was when it was first released, nothing since. Yeah, they weren't even too specific on what they said. I believe the only actual words that fell out of a Blizzard employee's mouth was around 420, I believe is what they said. The logic for me is that for characters that have hit level 70, they'll just give them 424 70 boost style. They'll just convert those characters into 70 boosts. I think that's probably the simplest thing. I, though, kind of hope that they do something a little bit more for those characters that have spent 600,000 bronze gearing up. But we'll see. Rewire the mainframe. Well, you to there then. Oh my god, I found the most disgusting, absolutely horrendously disgusting treasure the other day. Yesterday even, where you had to get pipe to go through a water. But not only was it getting pipe to go through a water, it was like one of those shuffleboard things. Oh my god. Painful. So much so that I looked at it twice and then was like, nope. Go back to that another day.
But maybe this will take some time.
Bring back Zereth Mortis' match 3. They do love these little mini games, don't they now? They do love them.
Right. Let's do this. Tell Ma not to wait up.
Seems to be in the wrong expansion again here. That Pipe Mania one, yeah. It's over here somewhere. It's over here. There's a treasure around here somewhere that's like a Pipe Mania thing. And it made me want to hurt people. I want to do it yesterday.
There you are. What was
Doing the leveling on the beta with 420 to 430 item level is going to be so bad for the first couple of levels. 480 plus, that was a breeze. Yeah, I want to try bringing my main character over and just see how it feels in different.
You may take your leave.
I'm hoping that it feels so much smoother in a relatively geared character.
There we go.
Imagine if they have plans to give 480 plus for remix characters if you did some bronze
See what this
upgrades.
thing knows.
You see, this is the thing, right? This is the problem. They're going to want to standardize it somehow. Because there's so many different item levels of gear that people could have. So they're going to do some standardization. Maybe they'll just split it in two. Like if you've dinged level 70 or you're max geared, you know, they'll do like 2 tiers maybe. But even then they could just go, nah, everybody's just 450. Just have fun, you know. I don't know exactly how they're going to approach that, but
Give me something to figure out.
Titan disc fragments.
On to adventure.
Why am I back here again? I should be paying attention to the quest here, shouldn't I, really? So at least I know what's going on. Picked up the new Midsummer Transmog yesterday, leveled a couple of alts, a bit more doing so. Need to do the, oh lord, yeah, we need to go and do the daily kill for the mount appearance, I suppose. $491 on the Druid, and it was a breeze. Took me a little over 5 hours to do 70 to 80. Sounds pretty good.
And I'm betting we can use
Season 1 will begin in 7 hours. Do we think that this is what the next beta build is actually going to be? Do they think they're going to simulate Season 1 launch? Or do we reckon that's just placeholder and it'll just restart?
Travel safe.
Review the Delver's Guide, then recover a key from the Rowdy Rubble to complete a bountiful delve. Delver's dirigible. Oh, this is how we get the skywriding mount.
Don't do it. Get yourself a key, then check your map for the location of these bountiful delves. We've been finding these keys in the strangest places. Make sure to keep your eyes out for them.
Item upgrades and crest
So many possibilities.
found. You're good. What's the other quest? Transmute to pouch of weathered harbinger
We have
crest.
slept long enough. In unity, find strength. Fair skies and
Nice.
strong winds.
Ballstones.
It's still recharging.
Have I tried Torghast? I've not tried Torghast, no. I've not given Torghast a go. Torghast is probably not something I am too... It's not very high on my priority list of testing stuff at the moment.
Queen Regent of the Dark Ironclad. Greetings.
Although it could be fun at level 80.
Keep your gaze fixed.
I will
To be fair, it was pretty easy to just
learn about
spank
the
through it.
Stormriders and their bond with their rooks.
Level 70.
Is this all that remains of the Stormriders?
Brackenhide and the Knockhood elites are giving experience above level 70. There's an option there for quite fast speed leveling if you've got a max gear character worth until like 73. Zug to 73. Then come in and do campaign. Would that theoretically be enough if you start the campaign at 73? Seems a weird kind of Seems like the kind of thing they would nerf. Seems very much like the kind of thing they'd go, whoa. This isn't what's meant to be going on.
Very well.
But if it works, people will do it. Especially if you can stroll in at 73. Well, I don't know. It depends, right? For the like people who race, the concept is you want to get out of the first zone as fast as possible. Most players would rather get in and get absolutely blasting as fast as possible, so they have like a clear run ahead of them. But for more general alt leveling, maybe, yeah, that works.
Easy, friend. We don't want to harm your...
What profession was the nightmare treasure? There's a couple I'm hunting for at the moment. Apparently there's a herbalism one that's like completely balked.
An ancient
But
storm
at the
rider
moment, the only two I'm missing on my current sweep of professions, I'm missing a blacksmithing one and I'm missing an alchemy one. The blacksmithing one is meant to be in Dornogal, though. I think it's also somewhat subject to weird phasing. Zara's not found it yet. Where are we meant to be going? Over here. Some of the Dornogal ones aren't actually in Dornogal. Well, there was one that's it's Dornogal's hammer is the blacksmithing one I'm missing, and even Wowhead seems to believe it's in Dornogal. So I don't know. I'm I do that kind of in the evenings passively. Fly around and wait until something pops up on my map. Okay.
Hold, Outlanders. This place is off limits to all but Stormward Baelgrim.
You didn't hear? Belgrim. He's gone.
State your business.
No, not gonna let me
What
talk to
do
you.
you want?
Hello? Not gonna let me talk to you.
But don't wait up for them. May the path you forge be your own. This Stormbrook has no bindings. It follows your directive still.
Follows.
Oh wait, hang on. I've just realised somebody said, "Did you try the new Torghast?"
Baelgrim,
In the new
and you know
Torghast.
the Stormrooks.
Oh, there's the
You were a Stormrider.
It's in the it's the one in the Ringing Deeps, isn't it? It's the event over here. I've not got to that yet. I've not cleared enough of the zones out. So I've just realised what you actually asked.
Other than enjoy finer things,
I've not got deep enough into the zones yet to really have played with the the events in each zone.
Enthusiastically paused. No, my curiosity ebbed when I found something dead in the main tower.
I've been 80 for a few days, but I took a few days off, so I've not actually done anywhere near as much as I kind of thought I might have done. I had this thought process that I'd try and get a new character leveled every week, and I suddenly realised that I probably won't. I'll probably just get way too engrossed with standing in Orgrimmar playing with professions, won't I?
Pleased to be of service. The two shorter towers.
How's the war within feel?
Could the conduit be stored there?
As you would expect in beta, still pretty buggy. I mean, very generally, it's quite cool. If you're looking for more specifics on certain areas, I mean, I can talk all day long about the professions. Yet the other aspects of the game I have not deeply tested yet. It feels new at the moment. It's probably the best way I can describe it.
I can help you. Sorry, I have not seen it. And I walked all over this site. Except for the towers. Heights
But
are not for me.
otherwise, it's right. Why is the wooden beams on these floors? Ooh, a chest. What the hell happened there? Okay. Top of this tower. Oh, really? There's part of me that almost sorts of wishes that things like treasures didn't pop up on your map now. Obviously, it's nice and convenient to be able to see them and spot them. But it doesn't make treasures feel like treasures.
Affirmative.
That makes sense.
If we can get you and the conduit to the peak,
I know even when treasures didn't pop up on maps, people used add-ons like handy notes to make them pop up on maps. But even still, I think it was
We'll fly ahead and prepare.
from a sense of exploration,
Where is your storm route?
I prefer.
gone.
It's kind of cool when you then just find something.
Well, right shall
Find
be.
something by actually exploring.
She's strong enough to carry us both.
Thank you.
Also, we can't bug out the XP buff for warbands anymore, so that's going to mess with leveling, level testing a lot. Well, I was always of the opinion that the first couple of times you're going to do it, it's probably going to be... They're probably going to... You know, this whole 25% buff feels to me a lot like it allows them to make the first couple of times a bit more lengthy. To then have... You know, if it's 5 ranks, right, they can make it, you know... You could look at a 25% buff in 2 ways. You could say that you're actually being nerfed by 10% for the first couple of runs. Then you're 10% faster by the time you've done it 4 times. 4 or 5 times. I tend to suspect that they probably want people's first playthrough to be that little bit slower. Because gamers will do gamer things. And, you know, there'll be some people that will ding max level within hours of the game coming out. And there always are. But for everybody else, I think they kind of want people to go through it a little bit slower to begin with. Then if you choose to do it 2 or 3 times, then steady increase your speed is fine. Having this kind of like 5% bonus XP every time you do it, dare I say, kind of is a clever way for Blizzard to not have to worry about the XP balance quite so much. Because they can be like, oh, well, you know, if it feels slow, luckily it won't be quite as slow next time. You know, it's an automatic kind of... it's a problem that fixes itself. Doesn't feel like they've made it longer on purpose. No, we see the same thing. Like, I think there's a lot of people who have tested betas and alphas and stuff previously will have the understanding that the way that they tend to do this is they make it super tight or super loose, right? So they either make it so that you have to clean the entire map. How long is it going to take players to clear the entire map of everything they come across and still struggle to hit max level? Then they go in the other direction where they're like, right, we're going to make it super duper mega easy to hit 80 and to find out what's the path of least resistance then. If you do nothing but the campaign, can you ding level 80 with like chapters left, or where do you ding? And then they find a happy balance between the two usually. But of course, we're still technically, you know, 8 weeks or whatever. How long is it until the game actually launches at this point? 58 days, 60 days. So it's like there's still plenty of time for all of this tuning and stuff. I mean, you could go and play Elden Ring and the game wouldn't have come out yet. So, not that I'm going to be playing Elden Ring, by the way. Just before all the comments come in. How many gigabytes of space is needed for that? Well, your installation size isn't huge anymore. You're not like by installing like the beta, it's not like you're installing a completely second version of the game. But everybody's install is going to be slightly different, so I can't really tell you. There'll be spec sheets on Blizzard's website for that sort of stuff. Go straight up to the top here now.
I can't attack that.
Yeah, I'm starting to get quite a lot of lag again. These Titan disc fragments I'm not getting any of, actually.
The conduit feels charged to me. I can feel its vibrations. Can you?
It's claiming that these things drop Titan disc fragments, which I don't think should make sense. It would Dagran in the vault of memory and assist him with finding Titan disc fragments.
Conversation initiated. Fly high, strike true. Back to the storm rooks. Here we go. Stay close. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this.
Outlander, help us.
There's a big bird on top of this mountain. Where?
Reach out through the storm, Lucella, as we discussed.
All right. Here goes.
Beta's about 20 gig. I see it's tiny. In today's terms, that's absolutely tiny. It sits on top of the retail client and shares a lot of stuff.
Stormrooks, hear me! We need your help!
Open your mind and your heart to him.
I don't think it's working. They're not listening.
Everybody dead? Pretty good?
You must believe.
Oh, I'm having a real torrid time keeping this damn fox alive, you know. I'm not doing good hunter things.
Go to her, champion. Lend her your strength.
Every stormrook has its own personality.
Oh, wait, what? Skip cutscenes for this bit. Yes, we are doing campaign stuff.
The Rooks have chosen their riders.
Need a
A
bigger
true
fox.
bond
That would
has
fix
been
the problem. That
The
would.
Stormrooks and their new riders need time.
That definitely would.
And you are needed at the shore, champion. Great. Yet another of your horde's savages to bark at the recruits.
So there's only actually 5 chapters in the endgame campaign. Against the current ties that bind, news from below, the machines march to war. That's only 4. Is one hidden? They hidden one? They must have hidden one.
Greetings, Outlander.
Lokar! Fight with honor, die with glory. You're in luck, Exarch. You get to see how the Horde gets things
Oh
done.
god, flipping disturbed dirt.
Training means more than beating your recruits senseless, Orc.
How many hours did it take to be 80 in the War Within? I didn't do it at any great speed, but I would sort of assume most people are going to do it in about an hour per level, if you're sort of just casually walking through and doing it. That's not to say that's the fastest time on the planet. You can probably do it much faster than that if you know what you're doing, but...
I need a tug.
In regards to like, I wouldn't really recommend people try and speed level on the beta anyway. Because the kind of concept of the zone, you know, the concept of it is that you methodically work through stuff. There's an awful lot of stuff to test before you even get anywhere near level 80. I think actually the mistake I made was I blasted through the campaign. Whereas if I'd taken more time to work through the zones individually and just been at the level that I was at the time, that would have probably been a much better way to experience the sort of the path through the game, weirdly. It's kind of, I've always thought it's odd that they make campaign be like the main, it's difficult to describe, right? But you weirdly miss so much going through. You miss so much going through just the campaign. You actually almost learn more from the side quests and missions and stuff, and the little hubs around the main cities and things. It's weird how that works. It's not worth to buy the Epic Edition. It's up to you. I can't tell you if the extra $40 is worth it or not. The early access to the game when it launches, 4 days early access, is pretty big if you enjoy the game. Being able to jump on to the beta, test it out, see it for yourself, familiarize yourself with it, you know, report a bug or two here and there. That's kind of up to you if it's the value or not. Oh, this is clever. They stroll in and you got to toss them the right weapon. You want a spear? Never go full degen. Always go full D. Oh. A hammer and a shield. Nobody wants axes or crossbows. Aha! Speak the devil. Boom.
Meddling titans. Do the Alliance and Horde always bicker like this?
May your enemies grovel before you.
Conversation.
Do you see the strength of the Horde, Exarch?
I see more than you know.
Go, champion. Spare yourself.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to put some thoughts out there about like the early access and whether paying, because it's, you know, you've got the cheap version of the game now at $50, and you've got the Epic Edition at $90, which nearly doubles the cost of the game. And that's before you even take into consideration the fact that you have a monthly subscription to continue playing the game. It's players who mostly stick to playing World of Warcraft, I'm sure it's a bit of a culture shock almost. Because if you don't play many other games out there, if you're a bit of a World of Warcraft fanboy, you know, you have your subscription, you buy your expansion, $40-50 every couple of years. All of a sudden you're presented with the option where you might need to pay $90. And I can definitely understand people's dislike for it. It's a very clear scumbag business practice, I think, to use something like 4 days early access. No, you're basically charging people $10 a day. $10 a day for 4 days of early access, before everybody else is allowed to play. But the irony in that for me is I reckon there'll be more people that buy the Epic Edition than they'll buy the Basic Edition, at least for launch. The Basic Edition is the cheap option for people to jump into after, right? The very second the expansion launches, the value proposition of the Epic Edition disappears, right? The value in the Epic Edition is mostly beta access, so once the game is live, who cares? And 4-day early access, well, once the game is live, who cares? So you are quite literally paying $40 for that, realistically. I know there's game time and stuff that comes in, but people would be paying for their game time anyway. The very second the game actually goes live, that $90 Epic Edition will probably never get sold again. Which shows it's just a money grab, right? It's like, how can we extract nearly double the price out of players who want to enjoy arguably the best part of an expansion, which is the launch week, assuming you don't get stuck in login queues. Launch week of a new expansion is unquestionably the best week in the calendar for many people.
The mission must always come first. Up, boy. Let's fly.
With 2 WoW players in the household, there's no way we're buying the Epic Edition. That's like almost 2 weeks' food for just a couple of days of fun. That we'll have slightly later. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. I don't care where you live. $50 is, you know.
I'm sorry, Lucilla.
An extra $50, especially if you've got to buy it a couple of times.
Just like we practiced, Lucilla. The storm is your ally.
Ulberich, where are you? We need you. Initiating!
Well done. The storm has granted the rooks its strength.
Right then, let's get these birds in the air and see what they can do.
Aquite ore seems to only come from delves. It's weird.
I'd like to stay in case Ulberich returns.
There's yeah, I think the nodes might be a little bit loopy at the moment. Their initial implementation seemed very rough and ready. But I am yet to test herbalism and mining out, so... Oh, we do some dragon racing.
Let's start by swinging out over the ruins of Dalaran.
It's not called dragon racing anymore, is it? It's like sky racing or something now, clearly.
I could have seen it whole. Such a wonder, such a loss.
Considering clearly how large Blizzard's PR and marketing department is, they have done an absolute tragic job of naming flying. Was it like static? Didn't we have? I can't even tell you what they are trying to call flying now. The concept of keep it simple, stupid, just clearly doesn't apply at Blizzard sometimes. Was it like we went from dragon riding to dynamic flight to static flight? Haven't we now got I don't even know what the 2 options are now.
Lucilla sure gave your rooks some pep. Whew, they don't seem to be tiring at all.
Forward, I would like a rest cycle after this, just the same.
I think I will quite clearly call it old flying and new flying.
I think we can move on to lesson 2. But first, let's buzz the ground troops down on the beach and give old Taralian a scare.
Boom. Oh, you made me finish here. Nowhere near where we're meant to finish. What?
easy. We're just getting warmed
Okay.
up.
EverQuest 2 buying the Epic Edition is pretty much mandatory since it has things that are best in slot for the first several months of an expansion. Yeah, that's gross. Actually, I like that there's a head start because I'll only be in the second wave and there'll be less players to run into, so my leveling experience will be better. Also, less crashes as well since things have been fixed. Yeah, but there's also the concept, right, that anybody can just start playing the game 4 days later if they choose. If they want that better leveling experience, you can just choose to not play the game in the first 4 days. But you know why everybody pushes through that? Because the first week of a new expansion is the best by far. Like, and that's where they're capitalizing on. They're capitalizing on the fact that people will see more value in that week of play than they will from an extra $40 of expenditure, which is, I mean, it's simple business, isn't it, really, at the end of the day, but I still don't agree with it. I get trying to use early access as an upsell in a single player game, but in a massively multiplayer online RPG, providing an option for players to start 4 days earlier for a premium price is without question a scumbag move.
But how?
Urge your rook upward. They discharge
what?
as they gain altitude.
Oh, they're trying to... Oh, this is clever. Campaign is actually teaching you... Where did the target go?
This would make for quite the
What?
show. Anyone fancy putting together an aerial act? Only if it's an act of war. Not bad. But not bad is nearly good enough.
You processed that this is a new directive for us, right?
You think the Nerubians care?
Rest of these targets that then. Hello? Oh, we've done them all.
Now that was some fine shooting.
One thing is we'll keep calling it dragon riding, is that's the first name, and it's hard to change that. This is why I insist on new applications to have their final name immediately to avoid confusion later on. Rebranding is so difficult. So rebranding is one of the most difficult things you can possibly do. Anybody that's ever worked in any marketing capacity understands that you're almost better off just starting a new brand than you are trying to rebrand.
The Council of Three Hammers requires me present.
Now, I know it's a video game and it shouldn't be that serious, but everybody was first introduced to this type of flying as, you know, dragon riding. You ride on the back of a dragon and this is why you fly different. Twitter, X. Yeah, I mean, all the money in the world cannot get people to call that platform X. All the money in the world is not doing a fantastic job of calling that place X. Everybody still calls it Twitter. That's what its name is. Why can't I blast these? Do I have to be on a different mount to blast these? Why is my regular... Wait, hang on. Where's the dude on top of the rock? I'm on the wrong mount. I'm meant to be using this mount, aren't I? You have to use the specific mount to do the shooty business. Get it? Grab a cheeky. What? Okay.
Lads, lasses, we are thousands of years old.
This flying combat though is quite cool. I'm not sure if I would consider it quite so cool when it eventually ends up being a raid boss. But for like a little world quest, it's not bad, you know. It adds a new level, it adds a new dynamic to flying. With aerial combat, it's nice.
Well done, everyone. I think it's time we gave your storm roots a breather. Champion, I think I saw the old Storm Rider Ulberig while I was flying by the meadery.
When changing password on their official app, it still says Twitter. Yeah, it still says Twitter all over the place. It's so heavily ingrained, like in the whole thing. Why you would see? What, like, from purely a business perspective, spending that much money on buying Twitter was a moron's move, right? Absolute moron's move. If you look at it purely objectively and you look at it from like a business move, right? Complete and utter moron move to buy Twitter for the money you did. But what does a billionaire spend his money on when he has everything, right? What does a millionaire buy? What does a billionaire buy when they have everything? They don't go buy cars. They don't buy yachts. None of that gives you any form of fulfillment after a while. When you have absolutely everything on the planet, what is one of the largest things you could possibly own? That only, you know, one of the biggest status symbol items you could possibly have. The ownership of a social media platform, right? It used to be owning the newspapers. Then you owned the news. We've evolved from owning newspapers. Now you own social media platforms. There's nothing more status symbol, nothing that is going to grant you more power than owning a social media platform. So hence the purchase, the desire to purchase one was not about how much it cost. It was about what power it brings.
Wipe away the memory of it.
And let's not forget, you know, Twitter was bought, leveraged against all of Elon's additional things, right? Leveraged against Twitter. Leveraged against Tesla, sorry. SpaceX, you know. What does the man that has everything buy? And at what price are they willing to pay for it? Well, they'll pay any price because money is not really an issue. Power that comes from owning a social media platform is worth significantly more than the paper value, monetary value that it's actually worth. Choosing to buy it and then rebrand it to X, though, that's just moronic from every angle. It's dumb. There must be more to buying Twitter than meets the eye, one would think. Well, there is, you know. if you you know, if you want to get your word across, if you want to get your message across, and you are struggling to get your message across, what better way than to buy the platform where everybody gets their messages across on? You can always be, you know, if you own the newspaper, it's very easy to be on the front page of the newspaper because you get to decide who's on the front page of the newspaper. Guess who everybody talks about? The person that's on the front page of the newspaper. This is the thing. It's both the smartest, it's both, at the very same time was both one of the dumbest things any single individual could do, but also one of the smartest things any individual could do. As soon as you ignore the money that had to exchange hands for him to own Twitter, you suddenly realise what he actually bought. He bought the ability to say whatever he wants to say, whenever he wants to say it, and have as many people hear it as possible. That is usually something that money can't buy. But at the time, money could buy it, so he paid the price.
So I see now. We were both right. Zarine, you stayed, even with Baelgrim gone. But you're free now.
He's been dreaming of X.com since '99. Yeah, since owning PayPal. He wanted PayPal to be called X.com. He's had this design concept for like a super app forever. Too bad he doesn't have much good to say. Well, this is it. But you can't ignore it when the guy owns the platform, right? Started a goal making channel on Twitter to see if the reach is better than YouTube. Could work, could work. Man wants a car design line to be called sexy. You can't take it seriously. Yeah. The Model S, the Model E, sorry, the Model S, the Model 3, the Model X, and the Model Y, yeah.
Unbound. It is time for us to come together as one.
It is a little bit difficult to take the man serious.
Conversation terminated.
I will go ahead and see if I can slow it down. Outlander, take Shroudbendry.
Have you done any gold farming in the War Within?
And I trust you
no.
to keep the Storm Riders
I don't
safe
do
from
farming,
the Titan's
most part.
machines.
I let people waste their time doing farming. I'll buy the materials off them. What I will do is I will figure out where the materials and where the farms are. But you probably won't see me doing all too much of it.
Anyone else concerned we're out of our depth here?
Remember your training, Catilda.
But gold farming on the beta is just pointless though, because who are you going to sell your stuff to? Like, what's there's no rhyme or reason. The closest thing you can do is you can it's just about figuring out where the farms and stuff are. But until you know what materials are needed and what, you know, the demand is going to be on them, it's kind of a little bit difficult to plus you have a box that gives you free gold, so if you're doing it just to get, like, there's no real need. This is the thing, this is what I'm trying to get across. My sort of focus is on how do you do profession stuff, where you're going to get your recipes from, how we're going to get the knowledge points, this sort of stuff. What sort of activities are people going to be doing a lot of at endgame? People are doing a lot of the same activities. Do they need anything to be able to do those? You know, this sort of stuff. That's my style of sort of gold making rather than gold farming. The terminology is often, you know, used interchangeably, but I tend to think that there's quite a difference between the two.
Room in these skies
has awoken.
Sylvain and I are ready to finish what Baelgrim started.
Oh, I do think this fella has too much health. Like, by this point, I get it. Flipping ages. Good practice though, because this is one of the special events that you get to do.
And in style, too.
It used to killing these things.
Made the Isle safe. Good
Nice.
work, Storm Riders. Take a victory lap and let our people know.
Did the
their
gold
souls
farms
are
to
safe
student?
again.
Yeah, there'll be mobs that will hyperspawn because there'll be quests, there'll be things you can farm them for. I'm not going to go too far out of my way to try and find that sort of stuff though, generally. This thing. What are you?
We offer greetings.
Story long, have you boss root cap? No.
Is that all?
Oh. You think Alliance or Horde is better for goal making? Good question. Arguably it doesn't make much of a difference.
What news?
But I would say,
We do what we. It seems the Storm Riders. Have
yeah,
proven
arguably it doesn't
themselves
make
once
much of
more,
a difference.
As have you.
Because you can always sell things to people regardless. And that's how you actually make gold. The concept of gold making is that, you know, you provide something to somebody for more than the sum of its materials, right? So, in theory, there are more Horde players, so you can sell more stuff to Horde players. So maybe more generally, Horde might be an advantage, but not purely from the fact that you're... Not purely the fact that it's your, you know, you inherently are not able to get the items that people might want. You'll have more Horde customers. Other than that, I don't think it makes really much difference at all.
Can be, and I hear you need some eyes in the dark, Windrunner.
The Weaver.
Yeah, not to mention in the War Within, you're gonna have flipping everybody playing with everybody.
You're busy. I get it. Just stay out of my way. Champion, meet me at the Weaver's lair.
Oh, there it is. Aha. Aha. So it isn't Dornogle. There it is. I think that was locked in some weird phasing previously. This is the last blacksmithing treasure, by the way. Where are we then? We're at 48. 48.26. To I'm going to have to update all my screens once they finally fix the maps. These look... These are not going to mean anything once we once they update the maps. Well, something is better than nothing. Yoink. There it is. That was the last blacksmith one. Okay, that I believe is all the blacksmithing ones found. I need to find one last alchemy one and then I can switch over to 2 new professions. Worth leveling ally alts for the racial skill bonuses. My suggestion is always that racials shouldn't matter that much, but if you're leveling a character specifically to put professions on it, then you might as well do the racials. There's no harm in, there's no harm in having the racial, but I wouldn't go too far out of your way. There's a lot more things starting to turn up that require, which are recipes behind reputation. Now, admittedly, they're behind very low ranks of reputation so far, like Renown 3, for example. It's not going to be any level of difficulty for anybody. But that's not to say they might not add some spicy ones at the end. Okay, I'm going to do a quick fly through of Ringing Deeps. One last treasure I need from Deeps. Hoping for NPC work orders next build. Yeah, you and me both. I think if we can get NPC work orders, a lot of things start to sort of all of a sudden fall into place and start to make a lot more sense. It says quests are available. Oh, but these are like, okay, done. How are we doing with our renown? 5. Transport to Ajkahet. We don't get that until we're renown 11. I think, the renown grind is going to take people a little time. Unless there ends up being some cheese way of just repeatedly getting reputation. I think, players might find themselves in a world where they are just kind of like hard capped on the renown that they can get. I reckon 10 to 12 might be possible in the first week, but I think people might be struggling to get much more without, there being some repetitive way of getting it. Rares are the one I think could be a potential.
You address the Council Ward of Dornical.
Smuggled goods? Spa supplies. Don't do much gear or item crafting for the auction house since most of its work are related anyway. And when it's really important, TSM usually isn't even working properly. This has been a bit of a problem with TSM for the last couple of expansions now. I kind of hope they get ahead of themselves a little bit with this. But the recent 4.14 beta thing that they're doing showcases to me that they haven't got their finger on the pulse, right? They are too concerned about nitty-gritty little things more so than the core concept of what the profession is meant to be good for. For example, being able to change what columns you have in certain tables, great. Sure, fantastic. If you've got nothing else to do, that's a positive change. But unless I'm wrong, unless I'm mistaken, TSM still doesn't properly support Season 4 PvP gear. Like, surely the stuff that is happening right now in the retail version of the game should have a much higher preference than some slight tweaks to the columns, you know? Now, I'm sure that this is stuff that's been worked on for a while. But this is kind of why other add-ons are running loops around them. How long has Point Blank Sniper been an add-on? How long has that been out for now? That's been out for the whole of Dragonflight and was already pretty popular well within Shadowlands, if I remember correctly. And only now are we seeing TSM revisit their sniper module. It just seems like they're not only 6 months behind, they're like a whole expansion behind in many regards. Which leads me to understand why so few people actually pick up and use TSM anymore. Because the complexity that the learning curve of TSM was often something that you felt that you wanted to do because you knew how useful the tool would be once you've kind of worked through it. But all the more frequently, as even Zanzafall said a minute ago, when you need TSM for it to be important, it doesn't work. So whatever side projects, whatever like features and functions they're adding, I hope that they, you know, look forward to what is going to happen 11.0 pre-patch, right? They have TSM have the time between pre-patch and the expansion launch. Make sure everything works for the launch of the expansion. If you get anything right, you have to get the launch of the expansion right. But you also know that there will be so many items that people pick up in the War Within that TSM just won't recognize what the hell they are. So, what's this? Don't have the item for that. What?
If that is all.
Auctionator and sheets, that's all that's needed. It's rough to have it work in week 1, but Dragonflight was really broken for over a month. Yeah, it's just the speed of the turnaround time on TSM is way too slow. And it's been that way since the beginning of Shadowlands, honestly. Look how long it took, you know, look how long throughout all of Shadowlands it took for the legendaries to even work remotely correctly. People had to go to the degree of having like super duper. I remember the custom price sources I had to make for legendaries were outrageous. Because I basically was manually pricing everything within a single custom work order. Then Crafter's Mark gear never worked properly. And in Dragonflight, every single season, the PvP gear doesn't work properly. And that seems to be something that they have to do manually to add it. By the time that they actually get round to manually adding the item IDs for it, it's kind of, well, at this point, it's too late. Like, you know, the opportunity's over. This is why I don't recommend anybody really use TSM for crafting anymore. I don't think it's the best solution anymore. It's auction house stuff, it still works reasonably well for. But for most other things, there are much better solutions out there. Wasn't Craft Sim created because TSM wasn't good on launch as well? Yeah, the guy that made Craft Sim, in fairness, did a really, really good job. But he got that out real quick. You know, somebody that was able to know what they wanted it to do and was able to implement it to do what everybody wanted it to do, which was simple. The maths, right? They wanted, you know, it just wanted the maths to be done. And once that was done, everything else fell into place nicely. Isn't the guy or the guys from TSM were hired to do the profession system in last Epoch? Maybe they would just be that instead of TSM. Yeah, one of the TSM devs does worked on the economy in last Epoch pretty heavily, yeah. But it was like I saw TSM put open... TSM was saying that there was a temporary position open for like a marketing member of staff, somebody to do their marketing for them. I was like, I get it.
Work cycle interrupted.
But you need a product to market first. I was like, I don't know. The conclusion I have is that I would have done it differently, but it's also very easy for me to sit here and say that as somebody that plays the game, and you know, it's much easier to say than it is to do in that regard. So that's not taking away from the fact that TSM is like a bit of a masterpiece of an add-on overall, but unfortunately it just doesn't. It's just not quick enough anymore. Haven't had TSM enabled or expansion. I use it for auctioning stuff, but most of the stuff I'm auctioning with it is past expansion stuff. Nearly all current expansion stuff, TSM doesn't go anywhere near it. And in recent months, when I've not even been doing all that much past expansion stuff, yeah, arguably I have very little reason to have TSM on most of the time. It's kind of handy from you know, from keeping your eye on the price situation. Most anything else is done with other add-ons. That said, though, retail is only one arm of Warcraft nowadays, with Cataclysm Classic, Season of Discovery, you know, all the extra bonus modes that we're getting. TSM, you know, stands out much more from that regard. You see this as well with a lot of the content creators. A huge amount of sort of goal-making content creators, some of the bigger ones, seem to have very naturally drifted towards like classic versions of the game now, rather than retail. And maybe that's why. Maybe retail isn't where the demand is anymore as much.
You go wherever you please, don't you?
How much gold do you get from Dragon Race World Quests? Is it the same as Dragonflight? The World Quest for gold. We did a Dragon Race yesterday, and it offered us about 200 gold and a handful of resonant crystals. So whether that was just because it was the first time we did the race or not, but it kind of feels like they might have chosen to nerf the amount of gold you get from Dragon Races, and instead are giving you some resonant crystals and some gold instead of just raw gold. But like I said, a test sample of 1 is not really that conclusive, so...
The edicts must be followed. I have work to do.
Main thing that drew me away from TSM were the interface and the need to scan the auction house all the time. Well, I mean, the desktop application does all of that for you now. I agree with you on the interface side of things. I very much agree with you on the interface side of things. I think, which is why I find it very confusing that they're focusing seemingly so heavily on adding more to the UI, when I kind of think that TSM is a bit of a data overload in the first place. Any time you might want to... It took, yeah, for example, when you were crafting anything with multiple material, you know, multiple qualities of materials, or you're adding optional reagents, the TSM interface is better now. It was an absolute shit show at the beginning. Better now.
Do you have an appointment?
But yes, that sort of usability, this is the thing, right? I tend to feel that most of the feedback the TSM devs get are from very advanced, very long time users of the add-on. And these players are likely to also want very, very niche, very, very specific things. And I suspect that their feedback is what sways the devs in the direction of doing certain updates, when actually going back to basics and making the default UI and things like the default auctioning operation just more understandable and more manageable probably be a smarter move, in my opinion. But like I said, just my opinion. I gave them the feedback before Dragonflight that they should maybe step away from trying to be the all-in-one crafting thing add-on, and that they should focus on where their real strength is, and it's in the fact that they have the data. They have the data, today's data, they have the historical data for every single item in the game, and they should really lean into that. Any other add-on will often look and at least look at some point and say, is it worth us using TSM's pricing data and building our add-on on top of it? Which is exactly what things like Craft Sim have done, right? They just take TSM's pricing data and they go and they use that data and provide it to players in a usable form. I gave them the feedback that maybe trying to find a TSM solution to a problem, you know, to the crafting system may not be all that feasible anymore. You can't write a single string of code that has all of the information you could ever possibly need to semi-automate the crafting of items nowadays. You just can't. Especially now we're going into the war within with things like concentration. You have to use your brain to decide exactly what is the best way to do this. You can have an add-on that can suggest to you that if you use these materials it will cost this, and if you use these materials it will cost this. But it's up to you to then decide, right, well, do I want a higher crafting cost? Or do I want a lower crafting cost, but I have to spend some concentration? Like, it's a choice, right? It's an active choice that the player needs to make. It's something that can't be programmed into an operation. So the TSM write a bit of code that just write a set of rules that are always the same. The rules change in retail now. This is the problem. And TSM can't easily adapt to that without you doing some incredibly fancy things. How am I going to go about pricing concentration? Well, I suspect this is where something like CraftSim will come and show its expertise here. I'm hoping that's the case, since there will be a mathematical way of determining what your best use of concentration is. That math is not easy to quickly do off the top of your head in most cases. You're going to need to know what is the optimal way to use potentially the least concentration per craft while simultaneously keeping the crafting cost as low as possible. There'll be some maths and you need to do that for every single craft that you have access to. If you open a profession, right, if you've got a big old list of potions and shit that you can craft, if you can do all of the different vials, you can make all of the different flasks, whatever, or a bunch of different potions, each and every one you need to know the crafting cost with concentration and your crafting cost without concentration. You then need to take the potential profit of every single item and divide the amount of concentration you know to work out your profit per concentration. And then you need to make then you need to find out where that value is the highest. And that might then be the suggested, and this is only the point, right? The suggested use for your concentration. But as we know, very early on, the pricing data that we're going to have access to is going to be wild. All over the place level wild. So the honest answer is until we start to see how the markets play out, you don't know where that you are not going to be able to easily figure out what to charge for your concentration. In terms of crafting gear for others, you can probably put a fixed value on it, and I suspect the community will probably come up with a bit of a rough average. But once again, it's the art of negotiation, right? It's crafters will it's a crafter's prerogative to get as much for it as they can. I will say. Start outrageously high and then just watch trades chat. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. My suggestion for everybody when it came to work orders was always simple. Pick a number that you're happy with and ignore what everybody else is offering. Crafters so often fell into the trap of competing against each other when they didn't need to, because you weren't selling your wares in a neat and tidy organized marketplace. It was he who shouts loudest wins, right? It's entirely possible to shout the loudest and charge the most, still make gold. For example, if you could charge 5k to guarantee a quality 5 craft for somebody, and you'll get 5 customers really quickly, and then you can go about your day. You've made 25k, you can go about your day, you've used all your concentration. Or you could stand in trade chat 18 hours a day, shouting, guaranteed quality 5s, 50k a piece. You won't get many customers, but you'll get a couple. And those couple that you do get will be more profitable for you. So there's it's another one where there isn't really actually a right answer. And if you start competing with other crafters based upon what they're screaming and shouting for, you're only costing yourself profit at that point.
It's not junk. It's treasure. No, take care of.
The same logic that somebody doesn't, the same. One of the common, quest log is full. Oh lord. One of the most common complaints is, oh well, this dude was crafting it for that much. Well then go get it from them then. Why are you whispering me if you've already got somebody that will craft it for you for this much? You're whispering me, presumably, because that person either isn't online or hasn't got the ability to do it, or you're just straight up lying. Alright? This is why standing your ground is worth doing. Jesus, how long is this rope? But I hate work orders from the word go. I can talk all day about smart sales and marketing strategy. Reality is the concept of work orders. You won't see me do much of it. Whatever the smart play is, you won't see me doing much of it because I ain't standing around in a capital city shouting, wearing my lungs out. Eventually you can guarantee max rank crafted gear, rendering, concentration, inert. Well no, because you will only realistically be able to achieve that with also using quality 3 materials. There will be the cheaper option. The cheaper option will be using quality 2 materials and using concentration. No. That will be the ultimate cheap way of doing it. And that is the scenario to which, let's just say those with less gold would the route that they would prefer to take. They would prefer to use cheaper materials and find a crafter that will use their concentration for as close to free as possible.
Let's get this started.
This is what might really have an interesting twist on how the economy plays out long term, because actually the more time that goes on, the more concentration will have this kind of like, it will start off really important and then people will start guaranteeing stuff and you'll see a drop off in the use of concentration, and then you'll start to see a scenario where the drop off in concentration caused the spike in price of quality 3 stuff, so much so that people buying gear all of a sudden were no longer happy to be buying the quality 3 mats and would rather buy quality 2 mats instead. It's not going to take, when somebody goes to the auction house to buy some materials and they see that quality 3 mats are 3 times the price of quality 2, guess which mats they're going to want to buy, right? They're not going to want to buy the premium mats, are they? They can buy the Q2 mats and find a crafter to use their concentration, then that's the cheaper option for them. This is a goblin stream, we can call them paws. Yeah, when the paws turn up. If that becomes the standard, then rank 3 mats will be useless further we go into the expansion. Yes. Yeah, rank 3 materials will be in the highest demand early on. Because let's not forget, for quite some time initially, and in fairness, I am talking only about the first patch here. For a good few weeks at the very least, people will need both quality 3 and concentration, right? The plan of action here is meant to be that the first patch of the expansion might require both, right? It's going to require crafters to have the best tools possible, crafters to have done crafter things to even be able to unlock and be able to make the things, to get the knowledge points in place. It's going to require people who want the bits of kit crafted to buy quality 3 materials, and it's probably going to require crafters to get their concentration on top. The likelihood of people getting guaranteed quality 5 without concentration early on, at least in the first couple of weeks, I reckon is probably going to be quite slim, but we don't know. We don't know. All I know is that supply always outstrips demand. Meaning eventually prices go down from every angle. You might be able to get away charging a bunch for your concentration at the beginning of the expansion, but that will have a finite time life on it. There will come a point where you'll be really struggling to flog your concentration for any significant value. What players might then do is switch into... Well, some players will be doing this from the very beginning anyway, but some players might end up switching into using their concentration on creating the reagents instead, rather than trying to part people with their gold in tip form for your concentration. I think that's going to be... It's going to be interesting. We had a sneak peek of how this works in Dragonflight, obviously, but I still don't think we really seen all of it. I want to try and find that other treasure, actually. I'm missing one. What am I missing? I'm missing an engraved stirring rod, whatever the hell that is. An item that Wowhead doesn't have any information on whatsoever. I suspect it's in the ringing. I suspect it's in this zone somewhere. Question is where? Piles of refuge.
I need to get close.
Enormous pile of refuge. Enormous. Any new beta stuff? Not yet. I suspect the build will be later this evening. For us over in Team EU anyway. Probably just in time for me to be watching the football. So it'll wait till tomorrow. Welcome in though, Jack. Hope you're well. These things have these Titan disc fragments in. I haven't figured out exactly what these are, but I think it's part of a weekly quest. So if I can get them from treasures flying around, we'll pick you up. Ooh. Quest. Kill rampaging elementals. Oh, quest log is full. Oh, flipping hell. Anything in Ashgahet, I'm borderline cancel these. Simply because that zone is so heavily broken right now. Get rid of all of these quests for now. We can go pick them up again.
intend to idle all day.
Is there such thing as too much gold though? Don't know. Sure, there's plenty of ways you can spend it.
Is there a problem?
It was quite interesting to see, actually. There's been a couple of what you'd consider goal-making content creators that have kind of come to the forefront and quite quickly decided that it's not for them. K-Chat being one of them. I'm pretty sure he very quickly realised that the advantage of doing what he did publicly, there wasn't really much of an advantage, right? In fact, he was actually better off doing it in secret. What was he actually doing? Well, for the most part, he was doing cross-realm arbitrage before it was fashionable. So he was basically, and the way he was doing it, he wasn't even doing much cross-realm stuff, honestly. He was just buying and selling on as many different realms as he possibly could. He had a short list of things he would buy and then resell. And he was doing it on so many realms simultaneously that he was actually single-handedly having quite an impact on, like, the market price for things. So let's say there's only 100 of a random transmog appearance across the whole EU. Let's say one on every server. Let's say if the market price of that piece of transmog is 5,000 gold, if you buy every single one on every single server and then relist them all for 50k a piece, you have very quickly adjusted the market's perception of the value of that item. And when you do that across multiple different items, that's how he was able to take mostly undervalued items, buy them all up. The famous one, I think, was the Korthia shoulder pieces. Because when everybody was in Korthia and farming it day in, day out, most of the Korthia shoulder transmogs were pretty reasonably priced because there was a steady supply of them. But there were actually really cool transmog appearances. And shoulders, especially, more so than anything, are quite a prominent piece of armor, right? This is where somebody might be willing to pay top dollar for something that looks right for their transmog. In many cases, he was buying these shoulder pieces, which were massively undervalued just because people were still in Korthia farming them for like 5k a piece, and then reselling them for like 200k a piece. So you quite quickly see where 1 billion gold might come from. But he was doing this with like 8, if not 16 accounts simultaneously, and, you know, doing stuff that if too many other people then start doing, all you're doing is, by advertising what it is you're doing, all you're really doing is attracting competition. And so it's understandable why, well, maybe it's not really that worth being a content creator, is it then, really? And I fully understand, because I even took the decision to do way less sort of goblin-y things on stream. I took the decision pretty early on in Dragonflight that the days of me being able to stand at the auction house and talk about market prices and what was worth buying and what was worth selling were done, right? I can't do that anymore. with everything being on a region-wide auction house, the very second I looked at something, within a matter of hours, that market was just dead again. And I actually felt it was probably doing more harm than good. And so, hence why I tend not to do anywhere near as much of that as I used to. Because then when everybody played on their own little servers, it was valuable advice, right? People could look on their realms and see, oh, well, yeah, there's similar patterns happening on my realm. I'll flip some materials or whatever it was. But when you're dealing with a region-wide auction house, you know, if all of a sudden I was like, oh, this ore's looking cheap today. Before I'd blink, it was all gone. So, like, okay. Oh, lag spike. Lag spike. And then I was like, well, is there a way for me to sort of hide what it is I'm doing on another screen? And I'm like, well, at that point, why am I streaming, you know? Bit of a, how'd you say, conflict of interest.
Outsiders detected.
I actually think K-Chak probably stopped playing World of Warcraft for the most part, which was also another aspect to it. The last time I saw K-Chak doing stuff, he was going ham on Rumble. I think he basically maxed out his account on Rumble using WoW Gold for the most part. So I suspect that billion is probably had quite a dent put in Warcraft Rumble.
More work. The work continues.
Oh no, see this flipping Titan disc quest basically telling me that any mob I kill I can get a Titan disc from, and it's getting right in the way of me trying to figure out what it is actually I'm meant to be doing with each of the quests. These spore things we're killing. There we go. Note to self, can't do personal crafting orders whilst gold capped. You'll be able to put all of that gold in a war bank soon. Oh, come back, stop evading. Oh, we got everything now. Fine. I'm playing too much beta, keep thinking I can Dragon Ride in Druid form. I went back and I played some Remix a little bit yesterday, and I was like, oh, I'm fast again. Like, it's been a few days since I play Remix. I don't play it every day now because, well, since I've got most everything I want from Remix, I don't need to. But it was yeah, I know how you feel. Going from one version of the game to another, especially versions of the game that are like remarkably different. Keep jumping off things and dying after playing Remix, yeah. Fall damage? What fall damage? Whoops. Doing in this cave? Elemental rifts. Ooh. Anything else in here? Just these rifts? Oh, destroy the rift source. That's going to be up here, isn't it? The rift core. I've been in here. I've killed this dude before. I can't remember why. Stop summoning shit. Oh, what was that? A glittering shard. Okay, bonus quest. Sure. I still can't help but feel that the Isle of Dawn is my favourite zone. And like I said, I can't get over the fact that I am in a cave for all of the others. That there's distinct walls. It's completely psychological, and it's completely not logical. There's still part of me that is just like, I'm in a cave again. I know I can fly. I know it doesn't really make that much difference. But it still doesn't feel right. I also need to put on my daytime potion at least again. Daytime potion makes it better. Still in the... No. Still feel like I'm in a cave, you know? Big old walls on the side. You can't get away from that fact. Odd. Can't describe it. It doesn't make sense, but...
Are you here to help? Stay focused.
Only 2 more chapters. or side questing areas in the deeps to finish. Must have found most. You'd have thought by now I'd have found most things in here. I am still missing one treasure from in here though. One flipping alchemy treasure. Apart from that, we're mostly at like world questy sort of stuff. Is there an actual lore reason? I am not your lore guy. I'm sure there is. I'm not your lore guy. That's a world quest. Reclaiming the waterworks. Should we finish that off? Blocked intake, this was the one. Where'd it go? This thing, look. Flipping pipe mania. This thing is going to cause people to break things. I have no idea how you unlock these ones in the middle. But the fact you can only move one piece at a time. Where's the piece I can even move? Oh, it's like that. We've got to get it out here. We've got to swap that one with that one. Okay, so it flows through here, through here, through here. We need to make a connection over here somehow. Oh, I did it! Ah, that got me a companion. Nice. Light bud. Mushroom looking fella. Like an old game for children. Yeah, well maybe I'm a child then, because fuck that game. Maybe a recent injection of caffeine helped. I tried doing that yesterday for about 20 minutes and wanted to break things. Remix is getting annoying. My poor slow-ass Death Knight cannot reach rare spawns before somebody else one-shots them. Death Knights are historically slow though. As far as rare spawns go, much like most things, I think you have to just camp them, honestly. Imagine if there's an engineer crafted pipe for that. Yeah, if they make that, well, that was just a treasure. That was a one-time treasure thing. So hopefully, hopefully that doesn't turn into like a world quest or something. Do we know any knowledge point sources yet? They're not much different from Dragonflight, honestly. There's one-time treasures, there's weekly treasure drops, there's, I believe, also weekly mob drops. So, initially, much of the same. I'm documenting what I find when I find it. But yes, we know there are some. There's knowledge point books again from some of the reputations. They've not really they've basically copy pasted Dragonflight in all honesty. So much so that a lot of the treasures you find are actually still the Dragonflight ones. But they probably just haven't updated them. New ones. Blocked intake is still showing up there again. It's a world quest. Oh, mineral build-up is a world quest. Oh, I didn't feel the need to do the world quest just yet. Oh well, I've done most of it now. This part of the quest. And 2 more. Couple up here if we can get to them. Oops. That do pet things. Kind of works. 1 pet is good. Don't evade on me. Oh. One more. One more. We're in combat with someone, apparently. Missed. Whoops. Oh, there's a new one over here. Mess about with one on a pipe that's going to bug out. Is there going to be a part 2 to this quest, or is this going to be all for 31 Valor Stones? 31 Valor Stones, but actually, more important, 50 rep.
Great to meet ya. Off with ya. Be good.
Oh, this must be one of the last chapters, actually. Waterwork brutes slain. Delve, complete the delve. Works repaired. But, oh, this is going to be a slog getting these things. What is the way we get these? Progress has been made on the Titan archives. Dagran has the machine up and running, but it's missing a few key parts. The ones left in the vault are now functioning. More of these parts, getting more of these parts will be a challenge, which is where you come in. Come with me to the Vault of Memory. We can meet with Dagran to catch you up. Not figured that out yet. This is kind of the reason why I'm trying to lore master most of the zones. It gets all the quests and stuff out of the way. And it should, in theory, open up all of the end game, I guess. If there were some of like the activities and things that are locked behind certain quest lines. Not that I think that's going to be the case too much, but... Should we do this awakening the machine thing? We've got 40 waves to clear. How does this work?
Maintenance today.
How does this work then? Vent some steam, create a steam cloud around you every 10 seconds that damages enemies. Your crit strike chance is increased, your haste is increased. Give me a bubble. It's what people were referring to as the new Torghast.
Hope you brought tools. Watch my back while I commune with the machine.
Keep them alive for as long as possible while he conducts his business, okay? Pet do pet things. Wave 1.
I'm getting lit up!
Ah, I can stand in front of that beam to prevent this dude from getting slapped. Oh my god, he's nearly already dead. He's nearly already dead. Whoops. Wave 5. Too bad so far. New power. All damage you deal is increased by 5%. Your size is increased. This stacks 100 times. Clank the Iron Strider is on station to lend support. More damage.
Measure twice, cut once. Watch my
go again.
back while I commune with the machine.
Oh, he fully heals after wave 5 at least.
I'm getting lit up! Ah.
Gonna get a little bit difficult without any substantial self-heal, isn't it? Oh, you know there are going to be some classes that are just 10 times better at this than others. Ow! Why'd you go boom near my friend? Wave 7.
I'm getting lit up! I'm getting lit up! It's getting too hot. We're getting out of here.
Oh. Whoops. He died. Okay. Sure. Was that it? Wait, what? We've got to clear 40 waves? We've cleared 7. Contains materials for upgrading gear, gold, and more. May contain a piece of veteran gear. Oh, God. 40 waves? Right. Well, maybe we take a quick bathroom break and then we give that another go. I'll be back in 2, boys and girls. Okay, let's try this again. 40 waves. I'm glad we don't have to do 40 waves in one go. All damage you deal is increased. You regenerate an additional 5% of your health in combat. Your damaging abilities heal you for 10% of the damage done. Yes. Yes, 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 and yes.
Hope you brought two. Watch my back while I commune.
Pets can tank, but 10% leech, yes please. Oh, they heal their friends as well. That's worth noting.
I'm getting lit up.
What? It just instantly respawned. No messing.
Time to fix things.
Doesn't feel like we have 10% leech, you know. You regenerate an additional 5% of health in combat and your damaging abilities heal you for 10% of the damage done. That doesn't seem to work. Wait, did that say... Oh, wait, 5 plus the 7 we did last time. I was like, why did that say 12 all of a sudden? Haste, crit, or more damage. More damage. Go.
Measure twice. Watch my back while I commune with the machine. I'm getting lit up.
Those pylons are pretty brutal. Grab you. You. Pet do pet things. Okay, we got past wave 7 this time.
I'm getting lit up.
Okay. I died on wave 8. So does that add our 7 and our 8 together? It does. So that means we've done 14 waves. Nearly halfway. Wow, this is gonna be... It's gonna be a... This is gonna be a bit of a grind, isn't it? Okay, we'll do it once more.
Brought tools.
Do it once more.
Time to fix things. Stay safe out there.
Just for a third time lucky sort of situation. With the music playing, won't you get DMCA'd? Don't worry about it. It's a kind of a bit of a loophole, honestly. The legal answer is I probably shouldn't be playing copyright music at all. But if you have noticed that I also stream on YouTube at the same time, there's no music playing on YouTube. The only place you can hear the music playing is live on the Twitch stream.
Let's get
this in essence means this is just a bit of a loophole in terms of I am far less likely to have any repercussions playing copyright music whilst live. That's not to say that it's strictly the right thing to do, though. But
I need to target something first.
Yeah. For a long time, I tried very heavily to make sure I only played like copyright-free music, or no music at all. The problem with that is there is very few trusted sources out there of non-copyright music. Very, very few. And the handful that do exist lock you down into a permanent monthly subscription. So you could, for as long as you pay the monthly subscription, the music is copyright. But the very second you stop paying the monthly subscription, they can start putting in music claiming rights on all of your past content of stuff. I was like, well, fuck that business, right? That noise ain't happening. So yeah, the reality is I just kind of side skirt around them a little bit. You can listen to music while it's live, and then there's no music on the VOD, nor is there any music. That said, though, Twitch is seemingly working a little bit closer nowadays with the big music publishers. They've just released something new for DJs. The DJs can enter like a revenue share system. I think it's quite clever.
Measure twice. Watch my
I don't know too much details about it, though. I don't know if the revenue share is really in people's best interests to use it or not.
I'm getting lit up. I'm getting lit up. I'm getting lit up.
Alright, get open. Okay. And I also think that even if Twitch is doing a rev share option, I suspect they probably take a rev share of all of your revenue as well, which I also would question the value of. Okay, we got past wave 8 this time. Just less headache to not have any. True. I agree. And there are certain times where I'm happy to have no music at all. if we're like, you know, if we're going into detail like through a Wowhead article or something like that, then there isn't really the strict need for any music at all. And in fact, in that scenario, the music is just a distraction. But all too frequently, if we're just sort of like, you know, we're mostly focusing on just playing the game a little bit, there comes a point where a bit of background music. Oh, I died again.
It's getting too hot. We're getting out of here.
We got a little bit further that time. I don't seem to be able to get much past sort of wave 7, 8, or 9 at this point. Wave 23 out of 40. I can do some more of those at some other point. What have we got here? Assist Foreman Grimes. How go on the job training? Don't want to talk to me properly yet.
Begin speaking.
Other thing. Okay. This one. New home, new candle. No, that's not there. That's dungeon knickknacks. Diagnostics collected. 2 dungeon quests. Let's go do this this Sky Rider racing one. Actually, I'm intrigued to see if the Sky Riders purses have been changed. Sky Racer purses have been changed. I think the share's 20%. I mean, if you're producing DJ content, like the Twitch DJ system. Right, if you are... Obviously, DJs are going to be using copyright music. And arguably, I don't know what the legalities are of, like, mashups and mixes and that sort of stuff. In my concept, my understanding of it is it probably should fall under fair use in the first place. But fortunately, the music industry doesn't really understand the word fair use. I don't know how YouTube deals with it particularly. Ooh, some tight angles on this one. Concentration face on. Hello? Woo! That was quite some lag there. Holy smoke. Well, we got gold. We got a Sky Racer's purse. Oh, we get Dragon Isle supplies. I don't think we were meant to get Dragon Isle supplies, were we? What's this race called? Was Warded Dragon. What's this place called? Ringing Deeps. Where's our purse? Dragon Rider's purse. Yeah, 250 golden resonance crystals again, look. They seem to have swapped it so that... Well, they seem to have nerfed it in regards to making them... less raw gold. Right, I've got one more alchemy treasure in here somewhere that I'm pretty convinced is in this zone. I'm going to have a little fly around for a couple of minutes and see if we can find it. Lost Deep Satchel. Lost Prospector's Chest. Lost Deep Satchel. It's not any of these. Lots of satchels. Bonus extra chest as well. Name of the one I'm missing? Braved Stirring Rod. When I was a DJ, the events, clubs, bars I played in already paid for the music licenses. But that was in Netherlands. When I was in Spain or Belgium, I had to pay for my own licenses. Yeah, this is probably one of the things, right? It's going to be different everywhere. This is the reason why rules and regulations on the internet are so hard to standardize, because everywhere has their own rules in the first place. And in that regard, it's kind of amazing that a platform like Twitch even exists in the first place. You know, 20% is too much if it's true. Well, I mean, I kind of go by the theory that if Twitch, like, I wouldn't see it being, it would be a let's put it this way, it'd be an absolutely huge win for Twitch if they could turn around and say that, yeah, you can stream music on our platform and we'll just cover the cost of the licensing. It would be a massive win if Twitch could turn around and say that. And, dare I say, it would be another justification for their 50-50 sub split, you know? They already charge, you know, YouTube has a 70-30 split on subs from the word go. Their ad revenue split is different on YouTube. I think it's a 45-55 split, if I remember rightly, on ad revenue. On YouTube. I couldn't tell you what the ad revenue split is on Twitch, though, mind. I believe it's pretty fixed. I don't even know if many people know what it is, to be honest. Like, Twitch are already what is considered pretty greedy with their 50-50 split. If they were able to turn around and say, you know what, we'll take care of the music licensing, then that would be big. Problem is, Twitch is already making a loss. Yeah, true. Let's say they rolled it into, you know, could they roll it into a Twitch Turbo thing? Have it such that every streamer would pay, if the streamers themselves had Twitch Turbo, they would also get, you know, a rolled in music licensing thing at the same time. I don't know. I'm sure there's ways they could financially make it happen. What is this? Shit, where did you come? I appear to have attracted a crowd. Twitch could be a really good platform for producers that want to have their music out there.
I need a target.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at the amount of... the one thing Twitch does do very well, even YouTube are jealous of, is the watch time. Look how much YouTube has pushed watch time in recent years. Twitch breaks records with its watch time metrics. I think something along the lines of the average viewer on Twitch hangs around for like 45 minutes or something. Whereas YouTube can't seem to make people stick around for more than like 20, 25 at best. Yeah, we've pulled way too much again here. Way too much and no health. Getting slapped from every angle. Just kill as much as we can before we get killed. Do pet things. My god, if we pull this out the bag. My god, we actually might. Huh, I have no idea how we survived that. I'll take it. Oh, engraved stirring rod. I found it. Yes. Alright, screw this. Laugh. Where's... Oh no, where'd it go? Ah, it's in this little building, look. Right, let's murder a bunch of these guys. I don't think we're going to be quite as fortunate this time. Whoops! Oh, wait, hang on. Totally the wrong direction now. Oh, that's good news then. That means I've now found all of Alchemy's one-time treasures. Grab my my screenshots of this one. Might be time to swap out the professions. Find some others. Can we be cheeky and it's not dead. Where do all his friends come from? Motherfucker. Stop making friends. We'll kill you already. Woof. Now. That the mixing rod? There it is. Yes. Where are we? We are in Bringing Deeps. We are at coordinates 64, 62. Inside by the stuff. Me one-time treasure. Bearing rod. Beautiful. Oh, let's actually pick it up. Yoink. Okay. Right, let's go get some new professions. That's 4 professions now. 4 professions where I now know where all of the one-time treasures are. Tempted to do some herbalism and mining now. Very tempted to do herbalism and mining. There's one herbalism treasure that's apparently busted anyway. But I've not taken much time to look at herbalism or mining at all so far. Is this the bank? Bank.
I have calibrated my prices.
That's
to be
oh, I haven't got any bags. Where can I buy some cheap and easy bags from? Where do I buy bags from on the beta? How and where do I buy bags from?
My directive is to
Not considered reagents, are they? I could put them in the warband bank. Been using this just to store random materials I find on my travels. I'm quite sure there'll come a point where storing all of these will be useful. Unless they go and do a wipe or something.
Return and peruse my inventory again.
Where can I find an NPC that's going to sell me some bags?
Do you have a query?
I need some basic bags. There's usually a general vendor somewhere, isn't there? They'll sell bags. Question is where?
Communication initiated.
How many knowledge points for the one-time treasures? There's 8 for each profession, and then yeah, they give 3 knowledge points each. Bags on the auction house. People have made them? No way.
I have calibrated my prices to be reasonable.
Ah! Lol. Okay.
My directive has been fulfilled.
I mean, sure. I could very easily have just transferred over a character with some bags on hand, but whatever. Works as well. Where's that reagent bag?
My directive is to serve you.
Right. It fits in there perfectly. Look. Right, do. Warband. This is all bind on equip stuff.
Return.
Most of the rest of this is just trash. Let's see what we can get rid of after this.
How you doing, man?
Shoe. Okay.
Good to meet ya.
What was I actually doing? Yeah, I was gonna pick up 2 more professions, wasn't I? Do we play around with some herbalism and mining? No, I want a new character for herbalism and mining, I think. I think I'm going to utilize this level 80 for like end game stuff and other things. Enchanting and engineering. Maybe we do the treasures in alphabetical order. Right, where's the enchanting trainer? I vaguely remember you being around here. You're tailoring. Ask a Donny, shouldn't we? Oh, hang on. What are you? No, books. Enchanting trainer. Oh. Haha! Gotta unlearn these ones first. Dancing. Yoink. And engineering. Where's engineering? Engineering is in the building here, isn't it? See, I'm slowly getting my bearings, you know. Slowly but surely. Engineering trainer. Starting to remember where shit is. Not played WoW since Dragonflight Season 1. Is the Hunter alt a new meta, or will Druid still work? You can use whatever you like. Honestly, whatever you like. Hunters are easy to play. You can often solo things because of pets, but Druids for like herbalism and mining are still king, so... Pretty much whatever you like. I'm starting to spot an awful lot of people though actually that are filtering back in for the expansion. Starting to look and think about what they might want to what classes they might want to play, you know, all this sort of stuff. Clearly a lot of appeal with Dragonflight. With the War Within, sorry. Also noticed an increase in sales. I mean, I've not been that active on retail, but you know, my perspective is stream and YouTube comments and the likes. Let's un-nighttime stuff. My daytime potions. There we go. Oh, world is a much more beautiful place in the day. Much more beautiful. rare. Your Rock Fist. Take to kill him. Slap, can't we? Give him a tap. How you doing, Mikey? Welcome in. With Panda Remix, I can make as many ults as I want. Yeah, you can. Remix is very fast for leveling ults. Very fast indeed. Contaminating Cleaver. 3 of 8 adventure mode. Binds to Warband. Requires level 80. Indestructible. Oh, that's cool. 477 piece of gear. Yeah, Remix is very good for alts. You know what you're doing, you can get an ult in less than 2 hours nowadays in Remix. Mental. A level 70 character in like sub 2 hours is crazy, but I'm sure there's people out there that are utilizing that a lot. What are we doing in beta today? Well, I've just picked up I've just picked up Enchanting and Engineering, and I'm going to go hunt down some treasures, some screenshots of some treasures. Other than that, we're just kind of pottering around at level 80. We're not doing anything too strict, anything too serious, but I've mostly lore mastered the first couple of zones now. Starting to get a feel for what the like daily events and things are. What's that square? What's that? There's a missing tile. An entire tile is missing. Can we land on it? There's a shark swimming in the air. What's going on here? Blizz? Whoops. Okay then. Working as intended. Multi-dollar company. It's funny some of the bugs you find. Like, what's caused that, for example? What's caused that to randomly flip in? Maybe with a greater supply you can help the rat. Oh yeah, you got a big fish or something. Not messing around with that right now. Oh, was that a quest there? I swear that was a quest that popped up. Where was that quest marker? Maybe I hadn't done all the quests out here. There's 2 quest markers.
Make it
Hello?
quick. We're busy.
Where have I done all the quests around here?
Communication in... sorry. Hello.
Could very well be profession quests, you're right. All or nothing though, that's part of the that's a campaign quest, I'm pretty sure. Oh, you. More quests. Oh, maybe there's a whole
I need some time to think.
We are the Titan's bedrock and foundation.
There's a whole section that I had somehow missed. I haven't killed these guys before. I don't think I have. Opals collected. Hello, game. I press buttons, please. Bag spike! There we go. Regarding remix, do you think the mail will stay in our mailbox when the conversion happens to retail? For remix, you would hope so. You would hope so, but I wouldn't rely on it. I have a suspicion that the process they're going to use for taking remix characters into retail is that if you are level 70, they just get converted to a 70 boost. Like, they already have that code in the game for when you turn like a trial character into a real character. I don't see why they would reinvent the wheel just for this remix character conversion. The only other thing they might do is do a slightly different version of it for characters that have spent bronze gearing up their characters, maybe. But I'm not even sure they'll do that, to be honest. Now, if they just convert characters into like 70 boosts, there's a chance that you'll lose your inventory. But no. I'm assuming you're thinking for dinosaur bones, maybe? Something along those lines.
Outsiders detected.
Something that's not worth anything on Remix, but might be worth something when it's not on Remix. Render them and then item restore? I don't know. This is more your territory than it is mine. I don't know. Keeping the bonus XP tokens in the mailbox, pages and pages of them. Character is 70 without opening the mailbox. Plan is to open it in the War Within and hit 80. Oh, I see. That's what. Yeah, that's something that is would be interesting. World first level 80 by just opening a remix character. And that it would be funny.
Speak your piece. I'll contemplate what we talked about.
Resuming work cycle.
Did you find something? Keep your eyes open.
Digging level 80 in like 5 minutes. That would be funny. Quest giver in there. See this stupid Titan disc fragment questy thing. I untrack this. Is that gonna no? Because it's still gonna put a glow on all of these mobs. Tracked. Tempted just to drop that quest, you know. Just a massive distraction. I don't think we're meant to be in the mine yet. Quest markers above, apparently. So much for me hunting down treasures. But distracted by flipping random quests again.
Have you met your quota?
I'm still working.
Oh, we can parachute into the mine now. Whee! Some parachute. Oh, I didn't open the parachute, that'd be why. Whoops! All nodes that let you hit them 24/7. That sounds a touch broken. Wait, did it tell us to dive down here only to dive back up again? Oh, well, you're a rare. Let's kill you. Anything cool on you? Viperstone gauntlets. Skinnable. Oh, we got 10 Titan disc fragments from killing that rare, actually. That's worthwhile noting. It's a shimmering opal lily. How in the world do we get there?
Do you intend to idle all day? If that is all, you go wherever you please, don't you?
This then. Known Lotus, Lure Drop, and Rep. One-time treasure. Take it. To be 2 profession treasures per zone. That seems to have been the pattern so far. You're likely to get 2 per zone, e.g. giving you 8. I'm not sure how strict that rule is. It seems to have been pretty much the case so far. That's the mindset I'm going with anyway when it comes to trying to hunt them all down and get some screenshots and stuff. Can I kill this dude again for another 10, even though he's not rare at the moment? Some of them are phase 2, little buggy. I believe Zansphill has a full list of them all now. Yeah, Zan was saying the other day that he's found most of them. Probably all of them by now. I've not spent much time looking. I think I've got what I believe is all of them from 4 professions. Dude, that's still technically less than half. And let me loot you again. Oh, I can loot you again. That's interesting. 10 Titan disc fragments of this dude again. His respawn's fast enough. I might just stand here and get this quest done. Get out of here. Hate these caves, you know. So confused with what direction we're going in. Can't even figure out which way up is.
way.
Working on a fishing derby guide so I can get it done the first Saturday of release. I'm not putting up with competition on the Royal Pools, no way. Yeah, fishing's another one I've not looked into. Took a little bit of a look at cooking. It also seems to be more and more likely that fishing is going to be the lead cause for producing Dark Moon cards as well. Whether it's just a case that it's not implemented at all yet, but I've not found a Dark Moon card anywhere in any of my travels from killing anything. Like I said, could be that they're just not on the loot tables yet. But the only confirmed source of any Dark Moon cards is fishing so far, which is an interesting twist. Well, I say that, it's not really a twist, is it? That's how it was in Dragonflight for the most part, but... Sure, you could craft them, but it was a bait to craft them. I assume there's a new build today. I'm not holding my breath, though. In fact, I can tell you exactly when the new build is going to drop. The new build is going to drop at the very moment England kick off this evening. And if we play as bad as we did in the last 2 games, I might not bother watching. Bots are not going to be able to fish in the War Within. There's lots of things in place to stop them. They'll need some serious code to get around it. We've been disconnected. Good. Honestly, the more they can do to prevent bots, the better. The more the better. Okay, it proper booted us out that time, didn't it? Proper yeeted us. Didn't like that. Try that again, shall we? If anything, the code of bots is more advanced than WoW itself. 100% there will be bots. If at the very least, you know, it slows them down. That's as much as we can really ask for. Just slow them down. Don't make it so bots take over quite so quick. We know that they're going to take over eventually. So, you know, give us a patch or two. A little bit of leeway.
Make it quick. We're busy.
You'll often fish up a cursed fish upon looting it, which you can never catch fish again until you toss it back. I mean, dare I say it, that's not going to be difficult to code against, though, is it?
Keep me informed.
This comes from somebody that hasn't got about this sort of stuff. Surely a very simple, if this fish is in your inventory, right, you know, it, I don't know. I don't know how these bots work in the first place, but doesn't seem any more or less complicated than figuring out dragon riding. Got that on lockdown these days. Is this the dude we're meant to kill? Ah, that's the fella. simple macro, no need for code. Yeah, I definitely don't feel that that sounds like too much of a problem.
Do you intend to idle all day?
Yep, 500. Nice. Yep. Trade legacy. Smashing into trees is still a thing, by the way. You'll be pleased to know. Boss group basin. Where then? No? Where's... No dude? Raid legacy. Why would you stand right on top of the quest giver, you fucking moron?
Hello.
Yeah, if I'm honest, I would kind of like a new build where we can test... Well, my number one wish for the next build is NPC work orders. I really want to get my teeth into NPC work orders because that will really help with the understanding of just how the profession system is going to like be paced, if that makes sense. Now, obviously, what we are not going to be able to tell is things like unless they come out and just straight up tell us. But we suspect that NPC work orders are going to be predominantly for catch-up purposes more than anything else. You might get a couple of NPC work orders a week. And more if you are, you know, quote-unquote behind. Meaning if you are keeping up with the system, you might still not see that many. Now, I hope they do, like I said, I hope they just turn around and tell us the answers to this one. Because it's not going to be something that's very easy to test for. But I'm also interested on if they offer skill points for recipes independently of what skill you would normally need when crafting it. Whether they offer knowledge points independently. Lots of questions. Lots and lots of questions. They'll be on the beta a week before launch. Too late for any feedback and then punted to 0.1 or 0.2. Yeah. Well, I'm hoping they learnt their lesson with work orders 10.0. That if you give it to people 2 weeks before the expansion goes live, you're not going to have it very well balanced before the game goes out. When did Blizzard ever learn from their mistakes? Looking at you, Dracothist exploit. That would have been easily avoided if they just hadn't copied the same incorrect code from 10.0. What are you? Best.
Speak freely. No directive needed. Let's commit our meeting to memory.
I'm waiting for them to whoopsie the NPC work orders and have them eat your public orders for several weeks before it gets fixed. I really don't think we're going to get many of them. I don't think there'll be many NPC work orders. Like, I think 2, 3 a week. I really don't think there'll be a lot. They don't really want to turn it into a mission table type thing. And they don't want to influence the economy too heavily with NPCs. I think their main focus for the NPC work orders is to give skill points to people who may not necessarily otherwise want to stand around in Valdrakken screaming and shouting about crafting things. So a handful of skill points short term for people to get their profession bar up to 100. And secondly, to give you some knowledge points if you are late to the party. That I think is probably the 2 main reasons they have for implementing them in the first place. Which, if that's the case, leads me to think that they probably won't be that plentiful if you're keeping up with things week by week anyway. Nor do I think they'll be that rewarding. I think they kind of need to be a little bit careful that they don't make them rewarding. Otherwise, they run the risk then of starting to influence. You know, if they accidentally make a scenario where crafters are not going to want to fill proper orders for real people because filling NPC work orders ends up being more lucrative, then they're really going to have done fucked up again. Because that's going to be another scenario where, oh, actually, real players are just a nuisance. You can't make systems in an MMORPG where real players are the problem. You can have systems that aid others. You can't implement systems that flat out replace other players. This is why I think their use of follower dungeons needs to be very carefully done. They can't and they probably shouldn't make follower orders be
I can't use that item yet.
You know, follower dungeons have to be restricted to like basic entry level versions of content, because otherwise you run the risk of replacing, you know, if somebody can run Mythic Plus quality dungeons with NPCs with AI, then no, you've removed the MMO from your MMO. And I don't even think Blizzard wants to shoot themselves in the foot quite that hard. Ben's a birdie. This is why I think it's important to see them and understand where they want to go with the profession, where they want to go with the system. If they want it to end up being like a turn-in thing to try and keep the materials at a high value, then sure, but... Oh no, I shouldn't have put... Hang on, especially with negative health. Right, we can kill it. We're a hunter, we can kill anything. Right. Give him a stun, I don't like the sound of whatever that was. Robotic volley? Yeah, not a fan of that. He wasn't too problematic. He screamed. This little area. Ah, I've dropped alchemy now. What's the odds that this little area drops like your weekly? These mobs drop your weekly alchemy token. Almost 100. And they also give me a private shard so I can get my rare spawn kills.
A new experience.
Yeah, you might need to camp them. Beat rock bar. Oh, I've just killed him! Oh, flipping Nora. Didn't realise he was going to be a quest to kill. At least that means he's going to be up relatively frequently. Just flipping nuked his ass. Respawn again. Is to hope that he doesn't spawn Belly's Frenzy. Ah, clever.
What path brought you here?
Oh. Well, it actually looks like I haven't done an awful lot of the quests out on the Isle of Dawn. There was me thinking I'd lore mastered the place, and clearly I hadn't, had I? 1, 2, 3 chapters of, like, side quests still to do? No wonder I'm finding new stuff. Maybe goes to show just how much I relied on add-ons like, what's it called? Was it called By the Way quests or something? Show you a mini-map where there was still an outstanding quest to do. Ooh, Rock Engineer's Wrench.
So much to discuss.
That sounds like a treasure to me, doesn't it? That sounds a lot like a treasure to me. Rock Engineer's Wrench, yes it is. Where are we? Isle of Dawn. Got at 61, 61.70. Table in the hut. Wait, what have we just found? Rock Engineer's Bench. Screenshot. Location screenshot. One. One down. Yeah, an NPC to post your auctions. That would be fun, wouldn't it? There's part of me, I've thought about this for a while, right? There's part of me that's, part of me that desires something like a level above what the current Goblin sort of meta is. It's very difficult to have something bigger and better what we currently have without a system like player housing in place. But some sort of... I want them to go... I would want World of Warcraft to go all out crazy level opportunity. if you had, because let's think for imagine. Let's think for an imagine. That's not words. Let's think for a minute and imagine if, let's say, they took the map and they divided the map up into a grid, and individual players could own certain sections of the map. Final Fantasy, for example, has the player housing where you have plots of land you have to bid on. You can buy out the plots of land, and they all, you know, players opt and bid on certain areas. You could have every single, you know, you could chop the entire map. You could chop every map into a grid and have players be able to purchase those spots. And it would, let's say, for example, you could then decorate that area with your stuff. You could obviously have a toggle option to be able to see other people's, you know, if you go into a zone, be able to see somebody else's decorations or stuff in that zone or not. You could turn that option on and off. Consider it real estate, maybe. Real estate in World of Warcraft. You'd then have like your high traffic areas. You imagine the cost of what the trade district in Stormwind would cost for you for that to like be your spot, for example. I don't know, so little things like that, stuff that doesn't really make much overall difference to the player, to the game particularly, but is another level above for players to like make gold for, spend their gold on, sort of thing. Something along those lines, I think, would be very cool. Some proper like status symbol shit. Funnel a lot of gold out the game as well. Oh, for sure. You know, it doesn't have to be player power related, but the status symbol of like owning a prime spot of land would be, I think, would be very funny. You'd have like guilds trying to buy out entire cities and stuff, and it would just be funny. Doesn't have to have any impact on the game realistically from a player power perspective, just purely for bragging rights and for fun. Take a bunch of gold out the game, open the doors for like, you know, it's kind of faux player housing, isn't it? Like, you know, they seemingly can't potentially do player housing properly, or not in the way that most players are going to want it. So if they just did like a silly real estate option, you could then implement, you know, woodworking and furniture crafting or something. This sounds very much like I'm taking a lot of influence from New World, and to a degree I probably am. But there are other MMOs out there that have done similar things. It's the only real estate anybody can afford. Charge power cells. Charge power cells. What are we doing here?
Did you find something? I'll contemplate what we talked about.
Power cell, is that an item that we should have? Power detector, measuring your distance from a battery. Aha. Archaeology. Oh, it's just shown me on the map where they are. Lol. Maybe it wasn't meant to do that. Where are we going? I know it's in here somewhere. to be underwater. Third one is clearly over the other end. Ultima Online did that already back in '97. Yeah, I mean, it's not a new concept. I'm just thinking more about that, you know, the opportunity to stretch goals for players. Because weirdly, I think at the same time as there being like a bajillion different things you could spend your gold on in the game, I don't think there's a huge amount of things in the game that people really want to spend their gold on anywhere near as much. The reward structures are done to death at this point. Pets, toys, mounts. We've been there, we've done that like God knows how many times. Pet bloat, mount bloat is already such a thing. Where is my pet? We're not exactly short of a mount or two. Pets, we're over like nearly up to 2,000 pets at this point. It would be an opportunity to inject like a new reward system into the game that players might actually care about. And on the basis that you could have it like semi-instanced, for example, that you could, you know, players could opt to just have it turned off, right? You could entirely opt to have it turned off. It sort of takes the garrison concept and builds on that a little bit. That you have you know, you could claim an area of the map and you could furnish it or decorate it with certain things. It doesn't have to be so, you know, it's player housing without it not necessarily being a house. I don't know, like, I think they just need to let their imagination run with it a little bit. I clearly haven't given it that much thought, but, you know, something for players to want to make gold with, want to use their gold on. Because I don't know about you, but when I make gold in the game, I'm rarely that excited about buying a new mount or a new toy or a new pet or something like that. Look at the success they've had with the trading post, for example. They've started to slowly but surely make... Oh, was I meant to siphon power from that before killing it? Wait for him to respawn. With them putting some more silly things in the trading post, look how excited people have got to buy those each month. Instance houses accessible from random doors in cities. Everybody sharing the same door to their house. Yeah, that seems as if we're getting closer and closer to that sort of eventuality in game. The delve loading screen thing could definitely be utilized. Now it's a little bit different because the way delves do it is there is a loading screen. It's just quite quick because it's loading a, you know, it's probably semi-cached even when you get close to the area, I would imagine. How that works. As soon as you get into the area where the portal is, it starts caching the delve in case you go into it, and so then if you do, it can just like snap it from memory and go, here you go. With player housing, it'd be a little bit different. You might actually need to have a loading screen, but you know, that's semantics really at that point. Some sort of instanced areas that players would have access to, decorate themselves. It'd be cool. Like I said, I want to take it one step above. I want players to be able to own, you know, real estate on maps, and only X amount of people. You know, what I really want is to be able to say that, right, capital city land is expensive, and if you're a big goblin with deep pockets, you can own like Stormwind's trade district, or you pick a prime spot of real estate. That's the real goblin in me thinking. Is there anything on this little island? You're not. Only stumbled across one treasure so far. Isle of Dawn. I expect... Oh, hello. What's this? Oh, it's an elemental geode. That one that's probably going to be a pain in the ass to get to, so we might ignore it. Screw that. This quest all the way over here, place forgotten. Hot wax, collect 12 fire bee wax. Ends the fire bees of their infestation. Okay. The hell? They all came back again. There's a lot of grey items, you know. This is one thing I will say, that where they might lack in raw gold. Like, you know, they might have nuked the raw gold potential for dragon races. There is a significant amount of grey items. Now, whether these are just like default grey items that are on all and every NPC they add into the game and will, you know, slowly be swapped out for like proper loot tables, I don't know. But there's definitely more grey items knocking about in this expansion. Which is all, you know, it all adds up, right? If you're playing the game consistently, it will all add up. I'm not saying people are going to go out farming grey items again. Can't think of anything worse for people to do. But as a byproduct of just playing the game, I was always frustrated with just how few things dropped off mobs. You expect most of the shit you pick up to be trash. Obviously, an RPG has to kind of be a bit more careful with this, not to make it a mini game in itself of being able to deal with all of these items, but How do we get the... Ow, I'm being eaten alive. Do pet things. Dying. Oof. Tinder bee bellies. Crafting reagent. Got some bees, no shit. More honey. Hot and waxy. Leave the pet to do pet things. Steal some of these. 11. One more. That one? No. Oh my lord, the lag spikes in this zone today. This is one thing I hope that... Now I know I'm playing on NA realms, and so my ping is... I've still only got 165 ms. The lag spikes are clearly server side. Freed honey wax? Full of waxy chunks? It's like a rare? Or like a... Gonna drop more stuff? No. Ah! Stop pulling things. Moron. Bee wax.
Bring back more shiny.
Gather more pollen, bee biter.
I find more stuff for you.
Okay. More quests, more quests, more quests, plenty of quests. Boys and girls, I'm going to leave it there though for today. I'm going to go get me some food. I'm going to relax for an hour or so this afternoon, and then I'll jump back onto it and try and figure some stuff out. We will probably be able to spend most of tomorrow looking at whatever turns up new in the build. I'm going to assume there's a build that will launch tonight. Due to it being Team NA hours, it probably won't launch until very late this evening, so we'll have a little bit of a look at it tomorrow. Hopefully it means that tailoring and inscription might be in working order again. I would like to dive into those in a little bit more detail. I've kind of nearly done all of like my first looks of professions. I just need to take an hour or two to take a little bit of time to look at some gathering stuff. Maybe do some skinning at some point. But I'm not in any rush to do that because that's sort of more closer to the time sort of feedback anyway. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you all for joining today. We're slowly getting there. We're slowly starting to figure things out. Hopefully by the time I've got my notes in order, I can start figuring out how we're going to distribute them. I'll look into that in a bit more detail soon. But yeah, thanks all for joining. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in a bit. Peace.